Welcome back to the Hillbilly RV channel. Today, got a really special video for you. This was a couple jobs I'd done the other day. I just could not video those on site just because sometimes that happens. You know, I'm not in a controlled place. I'm not in a shop where I can control who's around, what's going on. I'm on site, with these customers, at their campers, and maybe there's kids running around, or maybe somebody's mowing grass outside. There's always something going on. Just sometimes there's stuff going on that I cannot video live on site. So sometimes I just have to do it here. Hey, just want to mention a couple things real quick. Ladies, you're coming on strong again. My lady subscribers are up to almost 11% again. So good on you, ladies. I love it when ladies, learn how to fix stuff. I don't know if it's going to improve things a little bit, but I did get some, semi-professional lights, try and make these videos done indoors a little bit better. I don't know. You guys let me know. You guys and gals, let me know what you think of the new lights. And thank you guys for the lights, because you watching my videos, liking, subscribing, all that stuff. My patrons, you make this stuff possible. You allow me to buy better equipment to do better videos. Maybe someday I'll hire an actor and you'll really get some really good videos, and you won't have to look at me all the time. So let's get started, and I'll tell you what I found on these two jobs. Both calls were very, very similar. Basically, we don't have any power in our coach. One was a motorhome, one was a travel trailer. The guy with the motorhome, the first job, he said the only way he could get the coach batteries to charge was to start the engine on the motorhome, and that would charge his coach batteries, and he'd be okay for a few hours, and then the batteries would start going down, and he'd have to start the engine again. So I'm just going to walk you through what I found on both jobs, and y'all just hang on. Hopefully this will be interesting to you. So I want to add here that this gentleman with the motorhome, he had good AC power in his coach. He did not have any charging for his DC batteries, for his coach batteries. The only way he could charge his coach batteries was to start the engine. That would charge his batteries, and everything would be cool for a little bit till his batteries start getting low, and then things would start getting wonky. His lights would dim. His refrigerator probably wasn't working well, among other things. So that was the deal with the motorhome. First thing I done when I got on site was I went to the coach batteries and I verified that they were not being charged. The coach was plugged in to the shore cord. The shore cord was plugged into the pedestal. So I just want to make sure the batteries were not being charged, and what I found was the batteries had a static charge of, I think, about 12.3 volts. Okay, so no, they were not being charged. The next thing I did was there was some inline DC breakers right near the batteries, so I just wanted to make sure that none of those were tripped, and they were not. So then the next thing I done was went to the converter that was in the back of the motorhome near where the shore cord goes in the motorhome. Went back there. I was going to just verify that we were getting AC power into the converter and see if we had any DC power coming out. So when I went back to the motorhome, opened the compartment, and here the cord was for the converter, because this converter was a deck mount converter. So it just it's hooked up to your DC wires going to your battery, and this has a cord coming out of it that you just plug into a standard AC outlet. The cord was unplugged. The shore cord and everything stores in this compartment. This was all exposed, and apparently when the gentleman was getting the shore cord out or putting the shore cord in, probably getting it out, he inadvertently unplugged the converter. So he did not have any power charging his batteries. So his coach batteries kept going dead. So that was a pretty easy fix. Like I said, that just went so quick. There wasn't even time to get the video camera out. So I was there by myself that day, and so it is what it is. So anyhow, that was job number one. Now, let's move to the job number two. The same day, a gentleman called and said he's just got no power at all in his travel trailer. So let's go see what we found out on that one. Okay, so this was job number two that day. Gentleman called, very similar story, a little bit different. So he told me that he had been traveling. He'd went to a buddy's house. He plugged into his buddy's house, and he didn't have any power in the coach. So he didn't think much about it. He was coming to a campground the next day where he's going to be for the next few months while he's in our area working. So he gets to the campground. He plugs into the campground. Guess what? He still has no power. So that kind of threw him and me for just a bit of a loop until we figured it out. I'll tell you what, we'll discuss what I think happened at the end, but here's what I found. So I get on site, and the first thing I do is open up the door to the coach, look at the microwave, and I have no display on the microwave. That's just a quick and dirty way to see real quick if you've got power in the coach, because if you got AC power coming in, as long as your microwave works, you should have a display. So did not have a display. So the next thing I done was went to the converter inside the coach, the power distribution panel, the converter. That's the easiest place to access the power. Pulled the two screws out, pulled the cover off, went in there with my multimeter and checked. Sure enough, we've got no AC power coming in the coach at all. I had already gone to the battery and verified that it wasn't charging. So it had a static charge of 2.3, 2.4 volts or something. So then I'm wondering, where were we losing our AC power? So the converter was like in the center of the coach. The shore cord, which was not a detachable shore cord, it is an attached shore cord, went in a little door here at the back of the camper. So whenever they do that, whenever the shore cord and the converter are several feet apart, they always just run into a junction box here, run a separate power cord from the junction box at the shore cord up to the converter. So the next place I wanted to check was here at this junction box, because it's just usually a little 4-inch metal junction box. They use wire nuts to put the wires together. They know those wire nuts are notorious to come loose, and dozens and dozens of times I've seen the power not make it into the converter because these wire nuts have got loose and makes a mess. But anyhow, so I went there next. Still no power in it. I got no power coming in the shore cord. So now I'm thinking, now the guy was at somewhere else last night. He didn't have power. Now he's here and we still don't have power. So next thing I'm thinking, well, occasionally we will see a shore cord go bad. So I wanted to check that. So I went to the pedestal where we plugged in, and I wanted to verify that we had power to pedestal. Lo and behold, we did not have power to pedestal. I was like, that's weird. So then I tell the guy, I say, do you have the number for the guy that runs this campground? Because I said, I think the campground's got a problem. I said, there's no power on your pedestal. So while he's calling the gentleman, I kind of look, well, here's the power meters. There's like 4 or 5 meters together. It's like 50, 60 feet from the camper. So I'll walk over there, and there's individual power meters for, like I say, 4 or 5 of the lots there in that campground. And there's a cover here on each meter base. When you lift the lid, there's a I think it was a 100 amp breaker, 150 amp breaker, probably 50 amp breaker in there. So I start checking these breakers. So I start at one, check it, it's on. I figure that's for another spot. And I think there were 6 of them altogether. And of course, the very last one, I pull a little cover up, well, the breaker's off. I was like, aha. So I flip that breaker on, and I start retracing my steps, and guess what? all of a sudden we've got power in the coach. Now, like I said, this threw him and me for a bit of a loop because he was at somebody's house the night before. He plugged in, he didn't have power, and then he came to the campground. Again, he did not have power. So me and him both assumed that there was something wrong with the camper. So I guess probably what happened was he probably went to a buddy's house. What I was afraid of was that he had plugged into a dryer outlet in a garage or something, and he'd fried a bunch of stuff by putting 220 into a coach. It's designed for 110 volts. But he says, no, I just plugged into a regular little 15 amp outlet, just like you'd plug a lamp into or whatever. And they will run a camper, just won't run the air conditioner and stuff, but not for very long. So he had just plugged into a regular outlet. But I'm guessing what it was probably a GFI outlet that he plugged into. Those things are super sensitive. For some reason, it tripped the guy's breaker or his GFI breaker in his house. Nobody thought to check the guy's house. Everybody just assumed there was something wrong with the camper. Then he goes to a campground the next day and he's got no power. So he gets on the phone and he calls me like, man, I need help. So anyhow, that's what we did. That's what we found. Sorry I did not get to video it, but this will have to do on some of these things because, it's a good video. I'm hoping it will help people, but I just couldn't video it live on site. So that's what you get. So, hey, thanks for watching. I'm going to go down the road and fix another one, and y'all have a fantastic day.